Welcome to Earth 2 Keemy Cast, where comic book and comic book TV is the norm. We are here for our third and final discussion
Hopefully, maybe.
about Amazon's new series, The Boys. We originally thought it was going to be a one and done, but apparently there was a lot to
Tuh,
cover, and we are really
tuh.
random. So
Yeah.
um, we are joined by three of the four of our quartet. Uh, Anne is out on assignment. Uh, so we have Mo, who's
What it
laughing,
do?
and Kris.
Hello.
Hopefully he doesn't get hopefully Ant doesn't get caught and get a bomb in the ass. But yeah, Keem
Wow.
continue.
Wow. What that man does with his personal life is
Mhm.
so we managed to clear episodes 1 through 4 last time. So we're going to
Right.
pick up and do 5 through 8. Um so I guess we'll start off just to I know we were really yucking it up last time, but we just want to make sure that everybody knows and that we make it clear that we in no way take the subject of rape lightly, or sexual assault in any kind of way. So just putting that out there first thing before we get into the shits. Um, and with that being said, let's get into the shits. Um, so the first thing that we forgot to talk about in episode 4, one of the things we forgot in episode 4, and I'm not sure how we missed it, was the deep rescuing the dolphin.
Mhm.
What a dumbass.
Man,
How did we forget that? He's so dumb. I think it's so whack how they keep making him simpler and simpler. Like he looked so cool, even though I don't even know how to say it. He looked kind of cool in the opening episode. Was that the first episode? He kind
yeah,
of looked cool. He kind of looked like he had some type of command over like
the seven
everything.
C's. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then he just from the moment he pulled his fish stick out, he just kind of went downhill, and everything about the deep just kind of just like sucked. And then we find out that he's a dumbass.
Yeah. Um, it seemed
And
like, hmm?
is he in love? Is the dolphin in love with him? Or is he like
Yes, the dolphin was
something was
the dolphin was
inappropriate
coming
about
on
their
to him.
relationship?
The dolphin was hitting him with the what are we? Like,
Yes, that's what made that part so ridiculous because the dolphin was hitting on him hard.
yeah, and he's like, I don't really think this is the time to talk about that. Like, yes, it happened, but I don't think it's the time to talk about that. And he's like, okay, I'll
Right?
stick it in there just once.
Mhm.
Like,
He's like, no, now's not the time.
Huh? I actually had
Okay,
to
okay,
play
I'll
that
touch it. I'll
back
touch it just
to make
once.
sure I heard what I heard.
Yeah, you
yeah,
you heard what you heard.
that was happening. So then he was
Hmm.
like, I'll touch it. And so then I had to think, like, what is he touching?
The blowhole.
The
Like we out
blowhole?
here having dolphin sex.
And then is it a girl dolphin or a boy dolphin? Because then that brings up like a whole other set of stuff. Because if it's a
Hmm.
girl dolphin, I mean, girl or boy, whatever. But um, there's
Aren't
some
dolphins like asexual?
No,
no
but they
dolphin.
are. Okay,
I'm
I
sorry.
know we said we're not gonna joke about this. Is not a
I was
joke,
gonna say it, so
but
that's where I was
dolph-
heading.
dolphins are known to rape other animals and sea creatures and each other.
And
I
other dolphins.
I
No,
kid
the
you
male
not.
dolphins
Hmm.
they have bones in their
It's
penises, right?
it's like
Or like a prehensile penis. So
yes.
they can like move it, like,
So it's
past
an
your
actual boner. Like that's a real life
Damn it.
boner.
Nigga Mo.
Damn it. Don't catch what you got, man.
uh
But
yes,
no, seriously, was that so? We don't know if that was a male or female dolphin.
No.
We
right.
just know it was a dolphin that
Mm.
wanted him
A
to
dolphin who was
Hmm.
very
torture
into him.
Yeah.
her, and
Yeah.
that's cool.
Um so
He looked, he was kind of in shape, so I can see that. Maybe not.
So the
Like
dolphin's
I
just
don't
swimming
know.
like, ooh, look at that guy.
how you
Yeah.
doing?
Shoot your shot 2019.
No,
um
seriously, the dolphin said, "I'ma just, woo."
Yep.
Hmm.
But after that, like then he had the accident. Then the cops like try to stop him, and he hit the brakes super hard, and the dolphin is flying past him, and he's like, no.
No.
And then you
And the
think, oh,
dolphin
it's
is
just
like,
gonna land on the street, and that's gonna be fine.
Nah.
nah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why
I was.
when anything gets surprisingly hit by a bus or a Mack truck, the shock and then humor in it is, and maybe you just laugh from the shock value, but like, I know
Yes.
as soon as that truck hit it, I was like, what? And then I was done.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Don't get me
And I was
nothing.
thinking, okay, this is the one part of the show where they're not gonna go like all the way out there. But guess what they do? As
Nah.
soon as they, so I'm like,
No.
okay, it lands on the street, and I'm like, okay, we're good. And then, okay,
First, I was already cracking up when
crack.
it landed on the street because it just plat like pat. It just laid there.
What
So
else is
while
it
I'm
gonna
busy,
do?
so while I'm busy, go. I don't know, like worm its way. So while it's laying there, I'm there dying. Like, oh shit. Mm-mm-mm. Mack truck out of nowhere,
Flat. That is,
everywhere.
yeah. So yeah, that was really the start of the decline for the deep.
Mm.
Um, he was in deep shit, but that was his start. This is happening. This is happening
But
for the next
like you
hour.
get one of those.
Yeah. I get the Fozzie Bear waka waka waka.
Womp, womp, womp.
They can't all land. They can't all land.
Mhm.
It's okay.
Mhm.
So this is where his troubles kind of start because, now like kind of like I think we've already established that the superheroes in this are basically like the athletes of this reality. So when you like see the videos of football players getting in fights in the streets and stuff, or they get caught with their DUIs and everything like that, like this is kind of the equivalent of that. And so then they're trying to figure out like what the hell happened to him, because he's supposed to be the spokesperson for the place where he stole the dolphin from. Sorry, liberated the dolphin from,
Yeah,
and now he's out here like
kidnapping dolphins.
kidnapping dolphins. So okay, so we will continue with episode
Did
5.
we talk about how the race was only one lap? Literally
Did it
just
need to be
one
more?
lap around the field.
Yeah,
I just feel like
so.
I kind of got cheated out of that. Like they should have ran
Exactly,
around the whole world.
exactly.
Wow.
Like
So,
usually when you see like super speed races, like when the Flash race Superman,
mhm.
when all the Flashes race, it's always like a lap around the world, and that's what I thought I was gonna see, and I just took one lap around this little field, like really.
So
But it
imagine
was
the
crazy
people. Yeah.
because as soon as the gun went off, A
It
Train
was
went around
done.
the track before dude even started.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fast.
That's freaking
That was
fast.
crazy, but I still feel
Yeah.
like they should have went
He
around.
was
Plus, he was on that compound V. So,
hyped up on smack.
yep. Now imagine you're one of the people that paid. I'm assuming because it's vault, they charge an exorbitant amount just to attend there. You pay what, $500 just to get in the stadium for a 1 second show? Not even.
This is like this is like back in the
Like
90s.
how
Like,
much you think that pay per view is?
Shit.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I remember there was one fight where my
And then
dad
it's literally
absolutely
like
swore
one and done.
he would never buy pay-per-view fights again. It was a Mike Tyson fight, and Mike Tyson knocked the dude out in like 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
and my
Yes.
and my dad was like, "Nope, I'm
No,
not doing this anymore."
done with this shit.
Yeah. And then I picked up the baton when I got a place of my own and like had all my friends over, and Mike Tyson bit off Evander Holyfield's ear. And I was like, you know what? I totally understand, Daddy. I'm not doing this shit again either. I'm done.
Hey, you got a first-hand look at some entertaining shit that was historical. Okay, so it was worth it.
I guess,
Like you
but
actually had to see that happen in real
Yeah.
life.
that's true.
You had to see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
didn't want to
true.
hear about it. You had to see it happen.
Ant is
All right, my bad. That's the
joining
last time
us.
I'll interject.
Is Ant in a boudoir?
Wait, what?
What?
Wait, why you so?
Okay.
Why you laying sexy? Like you like? Nah, man.
Exhausted. That's all.
Homie, don't come up in here lay down like, what's up, girl? Yo,
Oh,
just
Wow.
have me in my hot water.
1-900 Earth 2.
What?
Arms behind the
Too
back, looking
sexy.
crazy.
it was Superman shirt today. No one told me. I just had the bunny shirt. That's it.
Hey, it
Good
works.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we just got finished talking about the deep rescuing the dolphin and how quick the race was.
So,
Um,
oh, sorry. Can I say one thing about the dolphin?
go for it.
Yes.
Yeah. So the deep sexually assaulted somebody at the beginning of the show, and then got sexually harassed or sexually harassed someone at the beginning of the show, and has been sexually harassed since. Like, the dolphins.
That's a good point. That's right. Yeah, we were
Rescuing
just
them,
talking about
That's
that.
karma.
Mhm.
right? Oh man, culminating in gill rape. Not that's funny, and not that I
Okay.
advocate.
So you came
gill
in
rape.
late, so you missed, but we have already covered that we do not endorse or condone or take rape lightly. So we're gonna like be decent people when we discuss that scene this
Mhm.
time.
Decent people.
Yes.
Can I be okay, people?
No,
I
you have
just
to be decent people, at least for that portion of the discussion, and then you can go back to being ain't shit.
okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I'll try.
Or, I'll just mute you. That works too.
That probably work way better. Actually.
Okay. So now we're getting into episode 5, which is titled Good for the Soul. At the Believe Expo, Starlight talks with teens while quietly directed to push an agenda, while Butcher has Huey meet Ezekiel, the expo host, and their next lead. May feels guilty for letting Flight 37 crash and visits her ex-girlfriend Elena, but leaves before explaining herself fully. Butcher takes time to talk with Rachel, his sister-in-law, over putting a tombstone to Becca. After A-Train kills Popclaw, he finds surveillance footage of Frenchie. Frenchie releases the female out of sympathy, who dies protecting him from Black Noir. She revives from her reactive healing factor. Huey finds Ezekiel with Homelander and learns the meeting is for rebaptisms. After Homelander exits, Huey extorts Ezekiel with privileged knowledge for information about Compound V, blah, blah, blah. So I think we can take it from here. So this whole Believe Expo, wait, let me get my notes. This Believe Expo is like, I guess it's supposed to be like a Christian Comic-Con of sorts.
Wait, before you get to the Belief Expo, don't forget the episode opened up with A-Train taking out Popclaw.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, that is where it opened up. Yeah.
See, that's why you got to stick with your story. It wasn't me. No matter what, it wasn't me.
Deny,
it could
deny,
have been anybody else.
deny.
It wasn't me. It's gonna be okay. I just need to know. That's a trap. That's a trap.
Okay, look, when that man said hand on the Bible, I was like, ooh, he lying. No.
Mm.
You know he's lying. Mo, are you with us? I think Mo is frozen.
Yeah.
Or he's
Or
really good at not blinking.
right.
Okay, well, I hope he's probably like spitting some of the illest knowledge right now.
Right.
Okay,
It's
he's
like, all right.
He's back.
Oh,
Mo.
he's back. Yeah. So, but I thought that was because we all knew it. We all knew that hit was coming. Like,
Mhm.
It had
Yeah.
to.
just let me know. I just want to hear the truth. I just want to hear the truth. They never just want to hear the truth.
Mhm.
They never just
Like,
hear the truth.
especially
So
if somebody can kill you in an instant.
yeah, the question that we had was, what was Popclaw smoking?
Mhm. I was
Um,
saying crack.
at first I thought it was crack, but it was one of those little glass thing. I mean, this tells you my
Meth, crack.
working
So,
drug knowledge.
so she might have been smoking V. Because
Hmm.
that's how. I'm not remembering, but I think that's how Huey gets his powers on the comics. Is they give him a hit of Compound V and explain that every hit is like $1 billion. That's why you can't just be running around giving a bunch of you can't give it to a lot of people.
Mo's back.
Yeah.
Mo, Mo?
So
So
Okay.
she could have been just hitting her stash at Compound V.
Do
I'm
you
just
do you know what Pop Claw was smoking at the beginning of episode 5? Like when they kind of pan in and she's sitting in a chair with a little glass pipe.
he said, "Do I?" Yeah, where she's sitting. Was it in Mexico
Yeah.
Yeah.
or wherever she was, and she's pop floor, and she's piping,
Mm-hmm.
and A-Train
Mm.
runs
What is
in,
she
and he's
piping?
like, "What?" He's like telling her how he loves her, and how he cares about her, and how everything is going to be great. How he told what's her face, Madeline, and how they're good to go. And she's like, "Oh, I love you too," and they're going back and forth. And next thing you know, it's, "So if you really love me, you are going to tell me who you told." And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you." No. She does tell. He tells. She took, and
Mm.
then
You're kind of
they
breaking
did
up.
a
I
good
can't hear
job,
you. I
man.
don't know if everybody else can.
He runs like 4 or 5 syringes and
Kinda. Yeah.
stabs her in the arm.
But that's also another lie how you knew he was lying. And then we could be together because I've already talked to I don't know
Madeline.
if he said Stillwell or Orlando,
Still well,
whoever.
yeah.
He
It's
said
Yeah.
Stillwell, and she's all for it. But that's why I just need to know, baby. I just need to know, and then you'll get everything you were wanting.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Lies.
So many lies.
She should have known
Um,
better.
yeah.
But
We were
tough for
also
that.
talking about how, like, were all of those needles really necessary?
Right.
Like, you couldn't just, like, I mean, and maybe like
Right?
afterwards he like snatched 5 of the 6 out and just left one. But
Like
It
I
was
had to inject
overkill.
one in this one, and then I got high on that one and just kept the needle and went to the other arm. Like
Mm-hmm.
what drug addict does this?
um,
It obviously staged.
Right.
clearly.
I was like, did he come in with all of those needles, or did she have that stashed? And
Well,
why?
it seemed like he ran out and then ran in real quick with the
Mm.
needles. So he may have just like had them
Ran to a
waiting
pharmacy.
outside. Yeah.
What was also telling is that he did all that, like he took her to that other country and all that stuff. I think primarily out of fear of Homelander. Like Homelander was going to do something to her and him, and then I kind of feel like again his killing of her was probably motivated by his fear of Homelander.
I feel like Homelander put him up to it because right
Yeah.
after he kills her, the next scene is him
Talking to
in
Homelander.
the boardroom with Homelander,
And
and
he's like,
Homelander is
Did you
he's
take care
like,
of it?
you took care of it, good. Now what about this the V? What about that? The compound V? And he's like, oh, I don't really think she had it. And he's like, no, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about you.
Mm.
mm,
And so then he's like, oh no, I kicked the stuff cold turkey. And he's kind of like, okay, like I'm proud of you. And so then A-Train is like, thanks for giving me the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And Homelander gives him a hug and he says, what did he say?
Oh, I'm
I'll always
watching
be
you.
watching over, I'll always be watching over you. But the way he said it was like, I'm watching you, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
He's
Keep
like,
keep your
I'll
nose
always be
clean.
watching you, kiddo.
Hmm.
Always.
Can
Always.
probably see his enlarged heart right there. Like, oh man,
It's not gonna be too much longer for you.
right.
Hmm?
I just like to control it, you know.
What'd you say,
Oh,
Mo?
enlarged heart. I thought I heard parts.
Oh.
I am so sorry.
His
I was like,
enlarged part.
We
what?
completely changed to a different show when you
Yeah.
So we're talking about when we're talking about when A-Train brings the information to what's his face, Homelander, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and how
Yeah.
how Homelander basically
Homelander's
gave
like,
him
that's enough.
the, like, yeah, like, I'll be watching over you, but what he really meant was keep your nose clean because I'll take you out.
Sure. Keep your
Um.
nose clean.
Also,
You know
I
what's
gotta
funny
agree with
about
Mother's
that?
Milk. French be taking too many chances with people's lives. Like you gamble with your own life. Don't be letting killers out around me.
Yeah,
like
like he
Mm-hmm.
I got bills to pay. I got things to do. I got a family to go back to. I can't be. Nah, man.
interesting as I'm guessing Frenchie could be technically classified as a mercenary. So for somebody who looks like he kills people for a living, or he at least is the middleman that facilitates like the weapons trade for people who kill people for a living. You would think he would be a lot less trusting of humanity, but for whatever reason, he like looks at Kimiko and is like, let's give her a I know she tried to gouge our faces off when we first met her, but she was in a dark place then, and she's better
Right.
now. So let's.
And again, I get it's going to work out because that's the show format. But I'm saying, kids, don't try this at home. You let them kill us, stay in there, lock them until you go get help.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now we get to the Believe Expo,
Mhm.
which is the con, Christian con, I guess.
Christian Con. Yeah.
And
Ezekiel Khan.
Ezekiel
Yo,
con, Zeke
my
con.
favorite line out the whole thing is like, so God's a cunt, right?
I knew it. I just knew it.
Trumpet ahead. Trumpet way ahead.
So basically, this is supposed to be for all of the the Christian heroes and their following, and they come. I guess they go there every year and talk about God, how they believe in all that stuff.
Well, those concerts are real. Like, as someone who got dragged to them as
You got
kids.
drugged that one?
I mean, I'm probably so.
You know what is really wild about that convention
Mm.
is how Vought is selling God as part of their superhero system.
That's America.
Like,
That's America.
like they're actually selling God, and it's crazy.
That's America.
I don't want to offend any Christians,
I do.
but like,
It's America. Okay, I don't want to offend
okay,
anybody.
well, Mo doesn't want to offend any Christians. Let me put that out there. But they're actually like in a space where it's like, okay, we're going to sell you this concept of God giving people superpowers, knowing damn well we're playing God. We're the people giving people superpowers, and it's like, but for everything, because we want to appear as above board as possible without being like out of bounds, because they operate out of bounds, they operate outside the law. But to everyone else, it's like what the Republicans are doing, kind of sort of in a way. It's like, oh well, abortion is so bad because God doesn't want it, or like gay rights are so bad because God doesn't want it. They're selling God, and it's so
But
wild to me when
it's
I'm watching it.
it's
Like,
even
this is real life.
the parallel is even more struck. It's the deserving poor versus the non-deserving poor. If you believe hard enough and you do all this, God will grant you success, and you'll be one of us at some point if God wills it, right? But it's not that we control the economic purses and the socioeconomic barriers are just so solid that you can't move up. So I mean, but these concerts and events, they happen in real life. We know it, and especially for middle America and things like that, where you have, I'm not gonna say middle America because there's some, I mean, there's some inner city playing things, events too, that weigh heavily on selling you the concept that if you do this, everything will be okay as long as you believe like this, you support this, and you go from this. I mean, this isn't the format for it. I'm just saying that was a really good parallel to what's going on in real life. And just you take superheroes away and put in economic success. That's why we have all these stories coming up about like ministers with mega churches that are trying to get Congress to pay for you know private jets and all that other stuff. It's but they fall for it. Like we all fall for it to some degree. So.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, I'm proud of you for not going on a full rant, Aunt.
I was trying to stop myself.
I
And
saw you pulling back, and I just want to acknowledge. Good job.
thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
so I guess
Oh,
piggybacking.
I was gonna say right at the beginning of the Ezekiel Con, let's not forget how Starlight's mom was throwing epic shade at poor Huey when he rolled up on them. She's like, "Yeah, can I help you?
Are you a
Do you need
fan? You want a
some? Are you a
picture?
fan?
Take a
Oh,
picture with him,
you work
honey.
for her?
What
You
is
work
this
for
Yeah,
her?
commoner doing here? What is this?"
yeah.
She's like,
We're not
"Oh,
here with the pores.
this
Yeah.
is this is a
And,
friend.
and she
Oh, how
did that thing
nice.
like, but that thing that girls do, like this is a friend when they haven't put a label on it yet.
Yeah,
So this is a friend, and everybody else know what that means. I'm sure I have to deal with that at some point in my life.
And the mom was like,
Like,
"Oh, okay,
Oh, okay.
that's what you want to do with
mm,
your life."
Sure.
uh,
Um, so
and even mom was promulgating. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm a little hangry. Actually, I was gonna say the same thing though, and like through this whole episode, the mom is like when Starlight is about to go make an appearance or whatever, and her handler, Ashley,
Ashley.
um, Ashley comes up and she's like, "Are you ready?" And her mom is like, "She was born ready. Like, she was born for this. Like, literally, she was literally born for this." And you're like, "Oh, okay, calm
I
down,
know. I was
lady."
there.
You're right, right. You're like, "Okay, calm it down." And then I can't remember the other thing that she said, but she said something a little bit farther out, like, basically the same thing of,
Oh, my friends are gonna be here. You can't. You got to do this. My friends are out there. I told
Don't
them to
embarrass me.
watch. Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much.
but
Uh,
more so her like just sticking to the point that she was born with this power. And then
mhm.
like even a little bit later in the episode when Starlight and Huey are sitting down drinking, and Starlight is like, "Yeah, my mom said when I came out of the womb, like I was already shooting light from my eyes.
Oh, I
Like
almost
when I
Mhm.
blinded the
came out,
doctor. Yeah.
I almost blinded the doctor." And so
Guys,
yeah, like just kind of sitting there like, "Girl, come on, just don't.
I
You don't
mean,
have to."
she might
what?
have. That might have happened because remember they've been injecting either the babies or the parents
Yeah,
with compound V.
So on the
yeah.
show, they've only gone that they've been injecting babies as their newborns.
Right.
In the comic,
You
Mother's
better
Milk.
not.
Okay, I'll stop.
Don't you do it.
Well, the other part is that when she had to lie about her sexual experiences, or her,
Mm.
and her mom knew she wasn't a virgin and like co-signed it, and I was like, it's just so
She started
telling that.
she started getting disenfranchised with the church because you could see it
Hmm.
in her eyes. Like,
Well, and
And it's hard
it
to go.
started. Did it start before that? Was where she was walking, where they were rocking. She was walking around with her mom,
mhm.
and they had like the having impure thoughts fly straight with
Nah, with
that's with
Homelander.
the sign with Homelander on the cover, and she's like, when did this start? Her mom's like, that's always been there. So like now she's realizing that they're just a bunch of like,
So it's once you leave the bubble, once you leave
Oh,
that
are we
bubble of that
talking
safe
about
space,
when she's
uh,
sitting with the
it's hard to
girls,
go back with the same
the
eyes,
round
right?
table?
Yeah.
So
a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
yeah, so like it's kind of hard to go back with the same eyes once you leave that bubble. And I mean, we all have our bubbles we get into, but like there's certain parts that just this is the truth. Everybody knows this is the truth, right? This is the right way to do things. And when you come back, it's like, oh,
But
all right.
going back to what you were saying before, Ed, about them selling religion, like Ezekiel up on stage trying to
Doing the ultimate youth
oh,
pastor shit.
like, yo, and Jay Z was like, "Sup, peeps, come through." And that's what Jesus said. Like, I don't think he said this, you
He
know?
said,
Did-
Jesus said, "Hey, bro,
Hey, bro. Yeah, hey, bro. Come on in here, bro. You're
come
all
on
my
in, bro.
peeps.
You're all my peeps."
Did y'all ever see that King of the Hill episode where Bobby Hill like finds like cool religion? Did y'all watch King of the Hill at all? Like,
Mhm.
I remember that.
yeah, and then like that's not the whole episode reminded me of. And then Hank Hill was like, nope, because that means your religion's gonna end up in this box with your yo-yo, your like all this other
Hmm.
stuff. And
Better stick to the script because Keem looks like she's about to come over there and murder
oh,
you.
Oh no, no. I was gonna add in that scene reminded me of fam no, yeah, Family Guy, where they were trying to the
The
school
purity
was trying
rings?
to hmm?
The purity rings joint?
Yeah, the purity ring thing, and then Meg started
oh.
doing it in the ear. But like the guy who came on stage to talk to the group, and he like came and he was like, I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna have a little bit of real talk with you guys. And he like turns the chair around and sits down in it with
Hmm.
and one of the kids in the class or in the audience is like, he's cool just like us because he turned his chair around.
Let me
And that's
rap
um,
what
to you
that
but
made
but
me
kids.
think. Yeah.
Ezekiel turned off real quick when he brought up like He's like, hey, I'm having a religious question. He's like, oh, sorry, my time's busy. He's like, no, I'm really in jeopardy. And he's like, when I saw it when you gave me head or something like that, he said, or
No, you
You're
like you fucked
you
me.
skipping
pounded my,
ahead.
yeah, something.
Yeah.
You played my butt. He said something like you played my butt, like something. And Zeke was ready to murder him right there at that church with that church celebration, real quick. Up until he was like, I got video, and he's like, oh, what do you want, money?
Hmm.
Because if he had proof, I was gonna kill you. But
Yeah, you skipped ahead because
You
we just
skipped
missed
way
out.
ahead.
You missed out about Homelander. What do you call it? Getting pissed off that Madeline didn't show up.
oh, and he like stalked her to baby appointment.
Yeah.
Uh,
Every time I see Homelander staring at that baby, like Madeline will like turn her back and the baby's like looking
Bro,
at
I'm like,
Homelander
he's
and
finna kill the
Homelander is
shit out
glaring
this
at the
baby, bro.
baby. I almost expect the baby to be like,
right.
I got your woman.
I'm sucking on them titties, nigga.
Right. Oh, you want some milk? You want some milk? You can't have this milk.
Can't have it. It's all mine. Like,
It's
But I
sweet.
feel like
It's so sweet.
that's probably what he's seeing in his head when he's looking at the baby, though. Like
Word.
every time he's looking
yes.
at the baby, that's probably what he thinks, laughing at me. I think there was a one time. Did we ever talk about the scene where she kind of like had to put him in his in her lap and just like kind of suckle him close to her?
Yeah, that was
That
later
was
in
that
this
same episode.
That was
Yeah.
just very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was trying to find different measures
Yeah,
of
so
control.
I thought,
Yeah,
for some quick reason, I thought maybe they were going with Homelander being like a super grown child. Like he never. I thought
mean,
they
he
were
is.
changing his
He really
origins.
is.
Like he was going. They were going like, oh, you're a baby, and you just became a man like in 2 seconds. But like I didn't know they were actually going.
No, so remember
Like he
Kilgrave?
just never had a like the actual comic book origin. I thought they were switching it up. I was like,
So
wait a
remember
minute,
how
they're switching it up
Kilgrave
because,
from
you like their chest.
Jessica Jones? Can we
Wait,
hear
both
each
of
other?
y'all are talking. I think we lost. Mo, are you still with us?
I
He
froze.
froze again.
Uh,
Kind of.
Yeah, he's breaking up.
There's a small delay.
so it's kind of like how Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, Purple Man, had these childlike behaviors because he's pretty much he's had the power to pretty much get and do whatever he's wanted since a little kid. So there's no way you're gonna have like a healthy development for that. And Homelander, they've written that and they play that so beautifully in this, terrifyingly accurate in this series to me.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, this is
Yes.
the time for you to bring up your discovery.
Oh, so discovered that Amazon does have some bonus scenes, like Homelander's origin. Well, not even his origin, but like his upbringing. So there's a scene that if you watch the show on Amazon Stick or something on the Fire Stick, you have like the X-ray option. So they have like these hidden bonus and features. One of the scenes was Homelander in a lab, being tutored by this woman
As a kid,
as a kid, right? So he's like, "Do I have a daddy?" And she's like, "Yeah, Mr. Vogel, the owner of Vought." He's like, "Okay, but do I have a mommy?" She's like, yeah. Are you my mommy?" And the lady's like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So he jumps up and gives her a hug, and he hugs her to death, cracks her in half, she dies. So the scientists come in and they're like, "Hey, it's okay. We're gonna clean this up, just like we always do." And they take her body away, and one of the scientists is talking, like, telling his notes, saying, like, it happened again, but this time it wasn't motivated by anger. It was motivated by something entirely different. And then they show young Homelander. He's looking down at the body, and he's just like, "Yeah, bitch, got you another one." Well, he doesn't say that, but pretty much you can read that from his
the
face.
smirk on his face, kind of.
They should
So-
have killed him as a kid.
So pretty much,
But they?
it gave some insight that growing up, he always had somebody clean up his mess. So he basically got away with everything. Never been disciplined for his fuck ups.
Yeah, and on top of that, we were kind of tossing around ideas that the reason why he killed that particular tutor and all the other ones, because when he asked the question of, "Are you my mommy? Are you going to take care of me forever?" And they're like, they're all scared because they know what this little nigga can do.
Hmm.
So they're just trying to basically say whatever to appease him. But like he reads like the
Pheromones.
biorhythms or whatever. So he's
Yeah.
like, your blood pressure is elevated, you're sweating, your temperature increased, your heart is racing. This bitch lying. She's not my mom. She's not
Hmm.
going to take care of me forever.
She's
She should
scared.
die for lying. Yeah. And he doesn't, for whatever reason, in his mind, like once those specific like things, for
Those
lack of the scientific term right now.
Once he sees those signs, it's like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, he
I heard
always
with the
equates
shits,
that with
deceits.
dishonesty.
On the bonus part, it looks like he ages, so I guess eventually he'll die of old age, and you can get your planet back.
You just got to wait him out,
Right?
however long that might be. Okay, so we see trying to go back to where before we segued, we see Annie and her mom walking, and Annie is realizing that this wasn't like all the great memories she had about this thing. It wasn't all glittery like she thought it was.
Rose-colored
Um,
glasses.
yes. And then while that's going on, you have Hugh talking to Butcher, who says, you need to get some one-on-one time with Ezekiel. They have like this private tent event that you can go into. It's like $3,000 a person. And Huey is like, well, how are we going to get $3,000 a person? Surely there's an
13,
easier way.
13,000.
13,000?
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Either way, it's really expensive.
I thought that was really messed up though.
Right?
But what I
Yeah.
thought was
The
really
the
messed up
cost,
is
like for the VIP.
wow,
Oh,
everyone
fuck, you
and
moved.
everything is piling up on Annie.
Would you
So
Scary.
say?
while everyone
Say
and
again,
everything is
Mo.
piling up on Annie,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Go.
okay, I'm sorry. While everything
Oh,
and
it's because I
everyone
muted
and
Ant and he doesn't
is
know.
piling up on Annie, you're right. You're right. Piling up on Annie. Here comes like her, her guy, her boyfriend, her,
Yeah.
the guy who, is the person that she would go to whenever she felt like the world wasn't, the world wasn't cool with her. And he came in and he decided to add more onto her dump pile. And I think, yes, she got I think the silver package, the $13,000 one, where you got to spend
Hmm.
one-on-one quality time with Ezekiel. But she was, at that moment, I thought she was done with him, and she was never going to speak to him again. But apparently, I was wrong. It was also funny that uh, uh, Huey's talking to Billy like, "Hey, what do I have? Like, I posted him out. I gotta get him to give me some information." And Billy's like, "Well, look, this is how you're gonna get it. This is how he's gonna give it to you. This, the phone with the what's it called, the video
The
on it."
video.
And then as soon as he decides, okay, I'm gonna do it, he walks into a baptism, crack the fuck up, because I'm like, yeah, that phone is done. Like way
Yeah.
before I saw it, I was like, the phone is done, because I'm like, it's just funny because now Huey's like done. Like, what is he gonna
Yeah.
do? And I
Hmm.
think he had it in him. That
No,
I'm like, Huey don't got.
well, when I saw him in the water, I sure hope he took that phone out of his pocket, because I don't think that's
What?
gonna
Like,
happen. But the
I feel
other
like
thing about
everybody on
that
the show
scene,
kind of slow.
it's you.
Yeah, we're fine.
Are you
Um,
saying the show as in the boys, or as in we all sound slow on this discussion?
Frozen.
Okay. So anyway,
anyway,
we
Oh no. I was talking about everybody on the, not the boys.
okay.
Yeah, like fucking
So
what's his
what's
name?
happening is there's a delay in what you're saying, Mo.
Huey.
Yeah,
he gonna
all
hear
of
that in
Yeah,
them.
10
so
seconds,
in that
Keem.
scene,
Yeah.
I didn't think what he was going to, what he did, he had it in him. I didn't think he was going to be able to pull it off, and he did. And I was kind of impressed with him. But quick question: was that where he lost his anxiety, or was that like, or did that come later
I don't think he lost it. I think
No.
he's just been coping with it
on
in
the
different
show?
ways,
Was
and
that,
sometimes he gets through it and can
well?
still
You
function.
understand what I
Sometimes he
mean by lost?
can't.
Like, was that where it kind of like faded away? Because I think at some point it just
No, because he was
faded,
still
and
seeing
No,
the
it's just like,
girlfriend after that.
yeah.
and he
What
didn't
I
see
thought
this
was
anymore.
interesting about that is red flag women. If you got a good professional job and you got this broke no job nigga coming to your event and ask you for a $2,000 ticket,
13.
13,
$13,000.
oh, $13,000,
Yeah.
See, I thought it was
$13,000,
3, and then Kris said 13, and I'm like, my God, not.
Hmm.
13.
But
No,
that also speaks to
for,
there's the scene where like Huey first makes it into the tent and he's kind of standing around, and Homelander sees him and he's like, "Hey, you're Huey, you're
Hmm.
Starlight's friend," and he's like, "Yeah," and he's like,
So you made it in, huh?
"Yeah, how the fuck you get in here?"
Hmm.
And he's like, "Yeah, she pulled a couple of strings to get me in." He's like, "How long y'all known each other?" And he's like, "You must be a pretty special guy." And he's like, "We've only known each other for a couple of weeks." And so now Homelander is really looking at him like, "And she got you $13,000 tickets to
Right.
come in?"
that's
Like,
some good D,
Right.
right? That's some good. I'm gonna have to
Because
try that sometime.
Homelander's Vought, and Vought is all about money. So now you're fucking up with the money by giving this mofo free $13,000 tickets.
yeah, well, and
Right.
aside from that, like, what's your connection to her? If you're saying
Right.
you're not that special, you guys only met 2 weeks ago,
Mm,
something doesn't pass the sniff test.
For
yeah.
the later accusations he has and curiosities he has about what's going on there, like that don't make any sense. What do you mean you just met? He gave you
Right.
$13,000 tickets?
Right.
Mm.
So he kind
Because
of
I get the
walks
feeling
off.
that she paid for that, right? Like she didn't get free tickets because she's famous. She had to pay for that ticket, right?
I'm pretty sure she got some kind of comp just
Yeah.
to be like, "Hey, let my friend in."
Hmm.
But I mean, that's still $13,000, a $13,000 value that she's
Yeah.
passing
Definitely.
along to someone. The other thing that we find out in this scene is that Homelander is an ordained minister, and so he's
What are we? Wait, what are we looking at? Mm.
I have no idea what we're looking at. Oh, are we looking at us? I think we're looking at us.
Okay.
This is really meta right now.
Mm.
Mm. That's pretty much how I see the world most times.
um,
Uh,
but Mo
Oh.
is Mo is freezing a little bit.
is he trying to
Mo is
say it's
freezing a
us and
lot.
not him? Is that what he's trying to do right now? It's
I don't
us. It's not him.
Mm.
We passing this along to us.
like it's
Anyway,
it's our faulty
uh,
internet. Um,
uh,
so
so,
wait, we're going
oh,
in linear order here,
Oh, and
Anthony.
then
oh,
so he, okay,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So he
So
after talking to Homelander, which again I got scared for him again. Homelander can sense your heartbeat, your sweat rate, all of that. And
Hmm.
how is Huey like going like guessing all of this again? How is he fooling Homelander? Anthony, what are you doing?
Mm.
what?
Anyways, I'm like, how are you, like fooling Homelander this far? He went in the water, he came out, and he tried to talk to Ezekiel one on one, and I was like, hey, this is about to happen.
okay,
Pulls the
but
wet phone out. He's
but
like, this is how you're gonna tell it to me. This is what you're gonna do.
Mo,
Mm.
can you hear me?
Yes.
So what we're not going to do is skip over the fact that Homelander tried to take that man out while he was baptizing him.
Yes.
Like, he dunked everybody
My bad.
else for like 2 seconds.
Hmm.
And poor Huey,
Like,
he
bro,
dunked
like you
him
just
for like a
Held his
good
breath.
20 seconds. Like, he's almost down there about to start flailing and fighting because as soon as he got down into the baptism pool, Homelander's like, "You seem a little nervous."
Sup,
And he's
buddy?
and he's like, "No, I'm just scared of water." Like, "Okay, because your blood pressure's up and your heart, like he's doing that
he
thing
gave
again."
he gave specific blood pressure measurements.
and,
Yeah.
Okay.
and probably like your phone's in your pocket. That's
quick
suction
question.
um, but that's how I remember
Can I
my
ask a
baptism.
quick question?
That's how I
Do you
remember my
Yeah.
think
baptism.
that
That priest
was
or pastor.
perception? Like that was Huey perceiving? I'm sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, quick question. So I watched it and I watched it again, and I'm saying, could that have just been Hugh's perception of time at the moment?
Mm.
Could that just have been him just being so anxious or like, just so scared that instead of like where what would look like 2 seconds for everybody else would feel like an eternity for him because he's perceiving it and we're perceiving that he's perceiving it. That's a lot of
I don't
people's
know, because
things.
he held his nose before he went under,
No,
and he still came up choking.
Look,
And
Homelander
plus,
likes
Homelander's
control.
face. Yeah, Homelander's
Yeah, and he
face
smiled.
looked really murdery during that part. Like, yeah, you like that, don't you?
Mm-hmm. You know,
All
I
Yeah.
can
right.
kill you right now and walk out of
Mm-hmm.
here. I'll be all right.
Pretty
I
much.
can
Anytime.
say his blood pressure was already elevated. I think he had a stroke.
Right.
Done. I will say, and this doesn't have anything to do with this episode, but kind of Homelander as a whole. Like when from the first episode to the last episode, I don't know if this happened for anybody else, but Homelander's whole appearance changed for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, for one, Kris kept saying he reminded him of a young uh
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper, which I didn't see. I was seeing Paul
Zach.
Rudd,
Mm. Then he turned
but
into evil Zach Morris.
then he looked like old ass Zach Morris.
That is perfect. If Zach Morris got superpowers,
Yes.
Yeah, and then we kind of went through a whole thing with that. Like, so this is
I mean,
basically Bayside was like an implanted memory for him, and then he became a superhero. Yeah,
and if you think about it, Zach Morris could freeze time, and he did a whole bunch of like
Right.
crazy, like
a lot of
a
fucked
hole
up shit.
stuff with that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I like this theory.
Evil
Zach
Zach
Morris is
Morris, man.
Homelander.
Eh,
Yeah.
Did we ever see his parents? We never saw his parents, did
You
we?
saw
Saw his
Zach's
Did we see his
dad.
parents.
parents?
No, you saw
Really?
Zach's dad. Yeah,
Uh,
and I think it was one or
Was it
two
real? Was it like a
episodes.
Truman
was
Show
it his
dad? It was like
dad
the Truman
though?
Show.
Right.
It may have been another implanted memory. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Huey survives his baptism, and then he goes to confront
That
Ezekiel.
sounds so crazy. He survives
He
baptism.
survived his baptism. I was holding my breath with him. He goes to confront Ezekiel, and he's like, I need to talk to you. And Ezekiel's like, oh, I have some stuff to do, buddy. And he's like, no, I just really have some questions. So then he's like, what do you? Ezekiel was like, what do you want? Like all of the glow and the glamour and the
Mhm.
godliness just kind of faded away in that instant. Like, you're really holding me up from the other shit. Like, I'm supposed to be at a club giving hand jobs and getting head right now, and you're keeping me from that. Um, and so he
That's
was
how I
like,
make
I
my nut for the whole year.
have. And he's like, Huey says, I have something to show you. So he pulls out his phone so that he can show him the video, but the phone is dead because it's been submerged in water,
Mhm.
likely for an extended period of time. And so, to what you all were saying, he was really on the spot with just being like, you fucked me. And he's
Mhm.
like, like in the club the other night, me and my friend, you fucked me. And you fucked me and sucked me. And it was just
It
like,
was
my
amazing.
gosh. Um, and so that's when all of his Christian ways just fly out the door, and he does the stretch Armstrong arm and chokes
So,
Huey up. Like, I could kill you right now, coming to my job saying this shit.
mhm.
And then Huey's like, my friend has the video, so if something happens to me, this video hits the internet. And that is how Huey gets the information on, like, why are you shipping this compound V?
Mhm. And he found out which hospital they were shipping
Yeah.
it to.
And it's going to a hospital. Um,
And Mother Milk says something like, "You're like what is it? An idiot savant of spying or something like that? Like the
Yes.
Rain Man of spying."
Oh, you're like the Rain Man of fucking people over.
Yes. The other thing that we kind of brushed over haphazardly was Starlight in this kind of round table with a priest and a bunch of the youth, and they're asking her questions. Did you have a boyfriend? And she's like, yeah, I did. And another girl is like, my friend is, did she say Hindu?
Mm-hmm.
Her friend is
Buddhist.
another religion. My friend is
Buddhist.
Buddhist. And Starlight is giving like some real and respectable answers. Like, God says love everybody. So even if your friend isn't a Christian, you should still love her. And then the priest is like, but what a great opportunity to like save her soul and bring her over to the right side. And
So you won't
so,
burn in hell.
yeah, so Starlight is like, okay, cool, yeah. And then another girl asked, are you a virgin? And she's, basically like, well, that's kind of a personal question. And you know, you want to think that your first is going to be the one that you marry, and then the priest looks at her like, bitch,
Like,
that's not the answer.
where are we at?
Yeah, and so she's like, you know, but I'm a virgin. Yeah, I'm a virgin. And I
Like
just thought
tell
it
the
was
same lies that were
interesting,
told to you.
Right.
right? I just thought it was so interesting that here you are in this place, and in order to encourage the kids not to sin,
I don't know.
air quotes, the priest is asking Starlight to sin and lie, like lie about stuff that I'm sure he knows is not true and she knows it's not true. So there was irony in that.
And also, I like what they're doing with her too because she's super strong, can shoot light out of her hands, has all these like god powers and everything like that. But she still isn't empowered until she breaks out of those shells and like preconceived notions and those gender restrictions that are placed on her. And to show that empowerment in a series, it's really really great, and especially in a media where we have so many people who think they're writing strong women but aren't. They're just like packaging it as. So seeing someone develop into a strong character with their own agency is really great to see. I think her. I mean, we obviously haven't seen where her journey goes yet, but she's in the same line as like Daenerys was from Game of Thrones, where you got to see somebody with no agency start taking more and more agency. I mean, we ain't gonna talk about season 8, but
Well, let's hope she don't end up like Daenerys.
right.
Um, yeah, so there were two
I was
speeches
waiting for
made to
this.
the crowd. Two speeches made at the end. Homelander makes a speech and he goes completely off script because Madeline has already told him this is what's going to work. We know this is going to work. Stick to the script. I know what you want to do, but this is not the audience for that. And we have to, like, we're playing to both sides of the field here. So like, be cool. But Homelander said, fuck all that noise. And he gets up and makes a speech about, um, how these people have to pay and he needs to bring the justice of God to everybody. And he ends the speech by floating up in the air and floating up in the air and like striking the Jesus pose, like arms out, feet pointed. And I'm just like, wow, that's what we're doing? Like, and of course the crowd is going crazy because rallies.
Yeah, 'kay, he's like, yeah, we got to bring some heavenly justice to our enemies.
Yeah. I can never tell if Mo is with us or not.
I know, right? Like sometimes he scares me. The little jump scare. He'll just move real quick.
So statuesque, like just a
Uh,
presence.
Yeah.
Trying to show off them gains in the gym.
Mo was like, I'll always be watching over you guys.
Right. Always.
Always.
Um,
Um,
and so
and that was a truly terrifying speech. Like when
Yeah,
you
it
put
really
yourself
was.
into that world, can you imagine being a liberal? Because I'm sure this took place in the Midwest. Can you imagine being a liberal someplace in New York or something like that, listening to the speech?
You're
Like,
like,
oh,
and that's what Madeline was saying was like we also have to appease the liberals, and this kind of talk is not it's not going to do that. And I think the liberals were the ones that they needed to vote to militarize the superheroes. So she's just like, no, don't do that. But he got up there and made his big speech. um so then he like his speech goes off, and then it's Starlight's turn, and she's telling her mom, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to make this speech. This is not what I thought it was. um these people aren't who I thought they were. And her mom is like, I don't give a damn. My
mhm.
friends are watching, and you are just going to go up there and fake it and make this speech because this is what we've worked for. Um, and I think at that point, that's just where all of Starlight's give a fuck. Just,
Just left the building.
yeah, like she had one fuck left to give, and her mom just snatched that shit away from her, and she was fresh out.
All right,
So,
real
is
quick.
is there a stranger in your house, Aunt?
I don't know. I'll be right back. Sorry. Give me a second.
Okay,
Hmm.
go on.
Yeah. So an offsuit story that I think they could have just skipped over, but it's when Billy leaves because he said he ends up at his sister in law's house and it's like, how did you, when did this happen? Basically, he found out that she put up a headstone, and my whole thing was, how the hell did he know about that?
How did he know?
It just came out of nowhere. Like they get a text like, headstone up today. Like, what was up with that?
Yeah. It's so weird because when you said that, somebody's phone made like a bling bling, like it's like a text or an email came in. We're living in a Scott Pilgrim episode.
Yep.
Mo, did,
But I'll say this though, Starlight's speech was very illuminating. No pun intended. It was very freeing. I think like Anthony has been saying this one thing Anthony has been saying all season, all with all the shows. What Anthony has been saying is, oh, Starlight gains her her womanhood back, which like she's actually super strong, but then she becomes a strong person. I think after the speech, and she almost starts thinking for herself, almost because again, like I said, after Vought spun everything, they still kind of had a way to have agency over her. But she this was almost a breaking point for her, the opening for her to almost become her woman. And this speech, actually in my mind, goes further season where Lady Maeve says something to her. We'll get when we get there. I'll connect it.
yeah,
I love this speech. I loved everything about it. I love how empowering it was for her. And I love the message it actually sends. You know, again, this is a crazy off the wall show, but it actually does have a message at some point. And I love the message her speech actually. That's all I got on that.
yeah. So my question to you is going to be, do you know how um,
Billy.
Billy found out that his wife's sister had put a tombstone up for her? He's not, I don't think he hears anything that's happening. Mo.
He's talking to somebody.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry. Can you please repeat that?
Do you know how Billy found out that his wife got a headstone?
Oh, how Billy went to the headstone? Okay, yeah, because Billy, while
No,
at the
how? Wait,
convention,
wait,
he left. He
wait,
said, "I
wait,
have to go
wait.
somewhere."
So, how did he know that a headstone had popped up is the question.
How did he what?
How did he know?
yeah, how did he find out that there was a headstone to begin
About,
with?
Yeah, I mean, does he just walk through the cemetery every day to make sure that no headstone popped up?
didn't he go to his
He
wife's
went to his
sister?
sister-in-law's after he found out there was a headstone up. But we're just trying to figure out
Yeah,
how
that
did he
they.
get this.
Oh no,
No,
I
they
don't
can't
think they
bury
told
her.
us. I don't think they told us, or maybe he was. I don't think they told us how he figured that part out.
Right.
All I remember
Okay.
was him. He was looking at his phone, or either he was looking at his phone or he got a phone call. I'm not too sure, but it's one of the two. He got on the phone and he was like, "I have to go," and so saying, "Hey, we are burying someone today for my sister, or we buried your wife, my sister." It must have been someone that called, like his sister-in-law must have called him and told him. He went to the house and he had a conversation with her, and that's probably how I think that happened.
Yeah, well, I
Otherwise,
know
I'm
it.
not too sure because they didn't specifically say what happened.
Yeah, I know it wasn't the
That's what I
sister-in-law
think
that
happened.
sent him the message because that's why he went over there just to be like, why, why did you such an odd duckling. He was asking the sister-in-law, why did you do this and how come you didn't give me a heads up? Okay, well, so the question is nobody knows. Somebody probably sent him a text. Anthony, if you don't mute your phone when you're moving it,
Oh, sorry.
yes, every time you move, that's all I hear is crunching and clicking. Okay. So, um, and then we thank you for bringing that up, Kris. And then uh, Starlight's speech at the end was, just basically love who you want to love, do who you like, do what you want to do. We're all still trying to figure it out. Anybody that's telling you
What the
that,
answers are.
yeah, all that they have all the answers, they're lying because they don't know either. Okay, so episode 6. Episodes.
Wait, did they go to the hospital? Yeah.
No, that was the next episode. Was that the next episode?
Yeah, I think that was the same episode. What they? All right. Well, let's
Okay,
find out.
yeah, episode. Okay, it was episode 5. So, and we definitely can't skip over that because, so Billy and Mother's Milk go to the hospital that Ezekiel pointed them towards, and what they find is a baby with laser eyes, like in, I guess, some kind of special containment unit that makes sure that its lasers don't like shoot out and blow up the whole place. And they see that the baby has a compound V IV drip. So from this, they're deducing that these people really aren't born with these powers; they're lab created. And as they're making this discovery, armed guards walk in and start shooting. So they hide behind a pillar and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. And Billy has this great idea and he's like, hold on, I'll be right back. And he comes back with a plug, and the plug is connected to the containment unit for that baby. And so he basically like pulls the baby over, and then he he holds the baby up facing these guys and basically cuts all of them in half. Cuts the first 2 in half with the baby, and then like the baby like is on the fritz or something. I don't know. So he like shakes it a little bit. He's like, "Hey, come
Shoot,
on!"
baby, shoot.
And then the baby shoots the last person, and then responsibly they put the baby back into its
Incubator.
incubator. Thank you. Back into its incubator and plug it up and everything.
Give a little
And
threat.
yeah, at that point you think, okay, like Billy's a decent dude because he
Don't
really could have
forget
just
what he
dropped
said
that
to the
baby.
baby when though. He said, "You."
Right.
Getting there.
He said, "You be a good boy
Yeah.
or something. Come back and kill you." And I'm
Yeah.
like, huh? This is a baby, my guy. Like, what are you doing?
Nah, that baby will remember.
The baby had laser eyes. Look, you want another Homelander on your hands?
Somebody got fired.
Yeah.
Then we get to Homelander, Peep and Tom, Madeline
Didn't
again.
somebody get fired this episode? What's his name's handler?
Yes.
Starlight's handler got fired as Annie's walking back up into Vaughn.
Ashley.
And you just hear from the door,
Ashley.
"I've been working with her from day one. How dare she?"
I think that's episode 6.
Yeah, that's the next episode.
And she
This
storms
episode
out
ending.
and she looks at Annie and goes,
Yeah. This episode, I think there's like 2 more big things that happened this episode. Is one, Homelander is peeping Tom through Madeline's office again. She's like, "Come on in." What, he's scared of me? He's like, "Oh, I'm not scared. You're scared."
"Oh man."
So he goes in there and, it's like, "Yeah, you can't do that. Okay." Trying to coddle him. And that's when she opens up her blouse and puts him there like a baby. Like you guys were saying earlier, it's like this dude always has to be coddled or some new way of control.
Literally.
Literally.
And then she puts him in her lap, and then she sticks her fingers in his mouth for him to suck on instead of her teat.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Very weird. But he's
like,
look, mommy
"Oh,
issues
this
and
is a
daddy issues are a real
TV
thing.
right now."
Yeah. And then this episode ended with Black Noir facing the female.
Yes. So Black Noir comes through, and Frenchie finds out that he's been burned, and so he calls Billy to ask him what to do. And
So
Billy
was ODB 2 times.
and so Billy is like, "Get the fuck out of there." And he's like, "Well, what about the girl?" And he's like, "Leave her." And he's like, "But," and he's like, "Look, because Billy's whole thing basically is all superheroes should die anyway. So he's just like, she's got those superpowers, fuck her, leave her, save yourself. But because that's not in Frenchie's nature, he like breaks her chain and she runs out, and he runs out thinking that now he's on his own and he's trying to hide from Black Noir. And so it doesn't work. Black Noir is like standing in front of him and he's like sitting there trying to figure out how he's going to protect himself, or this is going to be his time to die. And then out of nowhere, super fast, Kimiko
Just knocks his
pushes,
ass
yeah,
into the wall.
knocks him out of the way.
Man, she
And
tackles the
so,
crap
like,
out of Black Noir. Just boom.
Mm-hmm.
yep. And
Yo,
so she basically,
that fight.
that was a
Right
serious
there.
fight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that was,
he ends up stabbing her up because Black Noir Batman.
yes.
Nah,
Flash
that
Storm
fight
Shadow.
was something serious, man. I don't care. Like, that's, in my opinion, the best fight on the show. I don't think there was a fight better than that one. But, man, that fight was something serious. The knife started coming out. Shoot, 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 shoot. He stabs her and slices her open.
He
And
gutted
I'm
her.
like, she's gone. Nah, bro, she's coming right back. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I thought the episode was going to end right
She's
there.
really good. The fight was good. I love the choreography. It wasn't too dark, given that it was in an alley at night. It was pretty tight. It was pretty tight. Best moment on the show for me.
Okay. Yeah, so but we find out that she's got regenerative powers. So Frenchie, like, after she gets gutted, Frenchie like runs out and puts his jacket over her kind of as a sign of respect. But then all of a sudden she starts like moving her head, and I forget what Frenchie says, like his last words or whatever, but then we move on to the next episode.
You're a miracle girl.
Ah, yes. So we go to episode 6, where Huey and Starlight are in a bar talking. Oh, wait.
Is that the one that opens up with the
This one opens up. It's kind of like is Ant sleep? I feel like he's sleep. No, okay. This one opens up like Mo is asking if we're gonna do another one. No. No, we are finishing this tonight, today.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys gonna make a liar out of me? Are we doing a 4th episode?
Oh, I don't know how many episodes we have left. What are we on, 6?
We're on episode 6, and then there's 2 more episodes left after that.
I think we can wrap this up. Strong armor to the end.
Cool.
We can Homelander this end to the end.
Okay, so yes, in episode 6. Let's see if we can talk a little quicker. Again, episode 6 opens up with it's kind of like the opening of a sitcom or a reality show, where it shows like all of the different members of the 7 like doing their own thing. So it's got
random running.
running.
5 people laughing.
Yes.
Homelander humping a
happy
swingy.
music. Yes, a little kid on one of those little toy dinosaur things that rocks back and forth, and Homelander is in front of it, and it looks like the dinosaur is filleting him. And A-Train is running with he's jogging with a bunch of veterans in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And Translucent is invisible on a swing.
Naked, mind you, in a Charles Park.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, if he were actually there and, alive. But I guess that's the great thing about having an invisible superhero. You can just stretch that shit out for the longest, and nobody will ever really know that he's not there.
You know what I just Homelander reminds me of? I just got it. Dr. Horrible's Captain Hammer. Did you ever watch that? Dr. Horrible's sing-along musical, Josh Wheaton, Neil Patrick Harris. Okay, never mind.
I know what you're talking about, just haven't watched it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Nathan Fillion as Captain Hammer is basically the prototype for this Homelander. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So in this, so it says Huey is met by his old friend Anthony. Now informed, the boys know Vought used super charities to smuggle Compound V since 1971, disguised as a polio. What? I don't remember any of this. This goes as a polio vaccine to make super babies. Annie learns that Ashley was fired, and Stillwell demands that she comply with her design image. However, Annie refuses, remarking that firing her after her reporting a sexual assault would hurt Vought as a whole. So in Annie's speech in episode 5, she also says, she's been through a lot, including someone shoving their dick in her face. And so that's kind of out in the open now. And so when she's having this conversation with Madeline, and Madeline is like, you are a spoiled child, and you need to fall in line with the program, or you're just not going to be a member of the 7. And so then she's like, yeah, I just publicly reported a sexual assault, and that's not going to look good if you fire me. And so Madeline asks, well, who sexually assaulted you? And Annie says, I think you know.
But you know who did it.
And so, at that point, Madeline is just like, okay, well, thanks for stopping in. You've given me some things to think about.
Madeline's probably like, please don't let me Homelander. Please don't let me Homelander. Please don't let me Homelander.
Yeah, I feel like she probably knew that it was the
Yeah.
truth, though.
I also like how Ashley was like, at least I don't got to kiss your ass no more. Bitch, what have you ever kissed my ass?
Right. You bitch. She was a bitch the whole time.
The whole damn time.
Unless, when things were going well, then she would be like, oh my gosh, so great. But then, all the other times she's just like, no, don't do that. Get it together. What's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah.
This is kissing my ass?
Right. So, excuse me. Annie and Huey are at a bar, and they're sitting down talk. That's this episode, right? Where they're at a bar, and
Anthony shows up.
Huey's friend Anthony, Hugh's cock blocking ass.
Right.
Anthony shows up.
Shigati nigga just comes up, interrupting, telling embarrassing stories.
Yeah, like, remember the time?
Smooth. Like, yeah, man, you should see this guy. Oh gosh, he's got such a small dick, girl. You won't want that. Yeah, like Huey's over there, like
this.
See, I see why right here. Man, every time I meet a girl, come around town, and you try to tell stories about me, and all of a sudden I see you on Instagram, whatever, you out with that girl.
This is what happens. This is what happens.
That's why they call your ass. They got nothing to do with my depression.
Because he basically invites himself into this outing of what are we drinking?
What are we drinking?
What do you mean? What are we drinking?
We
and my date are gonna have some Long Island's.
No, man, I'm like, yeah, you can join us.
I think I was lost.
Good point.
Mo is still lost.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Nope. Okay.
And is this the point where Butcher realizes they're still going out to this bar stuff, or
it's a little bit later?
That's
okay.
Yeah, probably end of this episode, episode 7, no, 8.
Somewhere in there.
Okay, I'll wait to that then.
Yeah, whoever wrote the synopsis for this episode, it's a little.
Yeah.
I will say with Starlight saying like you're not gonna fire me and everything like that, I was kind of worried for her life because I kind of felt like Stillwell will be like, she could just die in a tragic hero accident. We'll have one of those funerals. It'll be a big selling event. Like you can't play that card too heavily. And because then they're marketing her as the rebel now, and
right,
she's getting a little more like swagger, and even standing up to Queen Maeve. That was
like they will kill you.
Yeah,
so even with Starlight kind of standing up for herself and thinking that she's really taking her power back, basically what Vought does is they just take little clips of stuff that they've already recorded of her, and they just go ahead and do her opening for her without her ever taking part in anything. Basically, her audition video, and then
Make
like
a
her,
series out of it.
yeah. And so it's kind of they're doing it like a rebel phoenix rising from the ashes type thing, because they're like, she was a small town girl down on her luck in the city and blah blah blah. Now she's taking her power back. Like, oh, okay.
I want to know whose
Right.
dick is in her face.
Who was the motherfucker that put his
So
dick in her face? She should
before
have
that,
him in the, yeah.
you forgot about Homelander wilding out about the blanket.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
So,
before Ashley got fired.
um, yeah. So there's, as they're like shooting everybody's promo videos. Um, wait. So they do the Deep's
Wait,
promo video where
did you say
everybody's
it was
out
May visiting
picking up
her
trash
gay
on the
girlfriend,
beach.
her girlfriend?
and he can't stop his eyes while
We'll
he's in
get
his
there.
promo video.
Yeah.
Like he can't even stop his eyes while he's in the promo video. Like
Right.
just 10 seconds. 10
Right.
seconds.
And he's just like, hey,
Hey,
how you,
sup?
how you doing? Yeah.
I clean your. Nope.
Yeah.
Family show.
And so they're like, no, it's yeah, so they have to cut because there's like people in the background picking up trash and stuff. And as they cut, and they're like, we got to shoot it all over again. So they just dump all the trash back out on the beach, like to do it again. And then you have Homelander, his opening video where he's walking through the house that he grew up in, and he's like talking about all these memories of playing the piano, his mom playing the piano, and him and his dad would be over there.
Every
Yeah.
night.
Every night, and we'd be over here doing something. You know, me and my dad would be over here, and he gets into the bedroom and he's like looking at all the trophies. You know, I was on the little league team, but of course I had to hold back, but we won a lot of trophies.
But we were still undefeated that season.
Yeah.
Cheating at it.
And he looks down at the bed and he sees this blanket. He's like, what the fuck is this? Like, who put this there? And they're like, Randy. And he's like,
Randy who?
why?
Randy
And you
Tetek?
see
Somebody
Randy
be
like,
run, Randy, run.
like Randy is crouched behind the door and he's like, why, Randy? And then he just like stormed
Man,
off.
I thought we was about to get Boys in the Hood again on Randy.
So he
That's the
storms
last
off.
time away from set that.
Huh?
Yeah, because he was terminated.
Mm-hmm.
And him got the
That's the
satisfaction that
last
man
time
lost
we
his
see
job.
Randy from set that.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm. The very last
He
time.
just lose his job.
So
that man is dead.
You know, Homelander like showed up, maybe said something petty, and was waiting for like any Randy. That wasn't it. Ruining Randy's life is probably Homelander's like hobby at this point.
that was his goal.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, and I can't remember which episode this is, but Maeve is sitting there listening to Homelander make this speech about how they will avenge the passengers of the plane that was hijacked, even though it was their fault that the shit went wrong. And so she just kind of walks off like, I'm just really not for boring speeches, and I'm not for
Fake
bullshit.
news.
And Homelander comes over and he's like, where'd you go? And she's like, I just don't like boring speeches. And so then he starts to give her this pep speech about, all of this will be in vain if we're not here to protect people, and we have to do our best. And she's like, didn't I just tell you I don't like boring speeches?
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of sends her into like this downward mood. And so she shows up, I'm thinking drunk, at her ex-girlfriend's house.
Always a bad idea.
Terrible idea. And
Drunk out of her mind.
Before we go off on that, it's something you said earlier that I never made a connection to. He said to Queen Maeve a couple of times, or at least he said it once and then heard another time, like, the reason I love you is always tell me the truth. And I wonder if that's connected to it, like he doesn't exactly treat her like everybody else.
Oh, can't hear a single thing that's happening. Okay.
Is he looking at us on the live stream?
I think so. I think that's what's happening. And then he'll like
respond to the live.
Yeah. This is like people who listen to themselves on the radio. Like when they call into the radio station, but they're listening to the radio to hear themselves, and there's like that 10-second delay. Yeah. So what Mo is trying to say is, I don't remember that scene. And sorry to what you were saying. I don't remember him
Him
saying
saying
like
like
you
the
never
reason why I
lied to
love you,
me. Yeah.
like because you always tell me the truth. And I don't think it was like I really love you. It's just like he doesn't understand what love would be.
Yeah.
But like he says that line at one point, and I don't know. I think she tells him the truth within guardrails of her own. You know what I mean?
You gotta finesse it.
Uh,
Yeah.
right. Uh, or maybe she's able to like. I wonder if she's able to like mask her responses with alcohol and whatever. I don't know.
Maybe so. Yeah. So she shows up to the ex-girlfriend's house drunk, and the ex-girlfriend is like, I don't want to see you. Like, well, first she comes in and she's like, where's the cat? And the lady's like, the cat's been dead for like 3 years. And she's like, oh,
Like,
my
don't start
bad.
up here. Just ask about my fucking cat.
Yeah. And so then she's like, we haven't, well, it's been so long since we've seen each other. And she's like, no, it's been a long time since you've seen me. I see you every fucking day, on TV, on like pretty much the same thing that Huey was going through after A Train killed his girlfriend. Like he goes to get the beer, A Train's on the beer can, he's got the cutout by the thing. So she's like, I see you every day. So for you, it's been a long stretch. For me, like I have to sit here and look at the heifer that left me.
Yeah, you
And
never left my life.
yeah, and then you show back up here asking me about a dead cat. Go back to Homelander. Like basically like, why don't you go ask that bitch to help you and comfort you after you done left me. So Maeve still ends up coming in and she's drunk, so she's not really articulating what's happening with her feelings, and she kind of slides down the wall crying. And of course that's when the ex-girlfriend is like, come sit down, let's talk, what's going on. So she kind of starts talking, but then she tries to start making out with the girlfriend, so then she's basically like, get the fuck out. So Maeve leaves. And the girlfriend is just like, she's so bitter and upset because she got left for Homelander, not realizing the reason why Maeve had to leave her was because Homelander would kill her. Because he had already said, if I even thought that there was somebody else or you were interested in somebody else, let's not even talk about it.
Right.
So when Maeve is shooting her opening scene for her reality show promo, the ex-girlfriend shows up. And in true reality show form, Maeve is like, hold on one second, cut. I need to go talk to this person privately. But one of the sound guys is like hiding behind a pillar with the microphone, like recording that whole conversation. And
Yo, the boom mic
once
guy
again,
was actually annoying. Like he really
so disrespectful.
Mad disrespectful.
dropped the mic right there, and she's like, "Go ahead, film it." And she
Right.
filmed everything.
Keep
And I was
filming.
Like,
Yo,
like the joint is like, like what?
y'all are wild. Like y'all are reacting like Maeve can't just come in and smack the taste out of all y'all mouths. Like, why are you recording?
Seriously,
This?
break all of your equipment.
She's like, "Oh, it was just we weren't recording. It was just
Yeah, we
pointed in
were
your
setting up.
direction."
Yeah, we were setting up for another shot. So
Setting up for the next shot. I'm like, in my direction though. All right.
that's how it goes down. So we'll go now to Billy asking Huey to come with him on a special errand. So where they end up is a meeting of the ACDS, which is the the Association of Collateral Damage Survivors. And these are basically the people who have been involved with or rescued by these superheroes, but the superheroes weren't the most delicate in their rescue efforts. So we meet one girl who was like, I'm so glad that Tech Knight saved me. I just wish that he could have been a little more gentle on my spine. So now she's like in a wheelchair.
Tech Night.
You,
Tech Night.
you see a woman, you see a guy in there. No, it may have been a woman. She only had one arm. Like her other arm was cut off at the elbow.
Yeah.
And then we get to, what's his name? Anton?
Anton, yeah.
Yeah. So Anton, who interestingly is the same guy who was helping with Starlight's story, like he's like a marketing person, which made me wonder if Anton is a plant or if this like
Find out what's going on.
really happened to him. So Anton tells this story that he was involved with a superhero, but he couldn't say her name, but her power was to freeze things because
And Butcher's like, oh,
Oh, Ice
Ooh,
Princess.
Ice Princess. Yeah. And kind of the same thing with Huey. So it's probably the same thing that has happened with all of these people where something bad has happened because of a superhero and then they have to sign an NDA so they can never like directly talk about it again. So he says, I can't say her name. And he's like, Ice Princess. And he's like, I am not legally, I can't speak on
Not
it.
allowed to say that, yeah.
Yeah. So he tells a story about how he gets involved and they're being intimate, and in the throes of her orgasm, she turns to ice, and it
he's
drops.
inside her.
He's
Liquid
still
nitrogen.
inside of her, and it drops to like negative 350 some odd degrees, which is the equivalent of liquid nitrogen, and it broke off.
Means it's shattered.
It snapped off.
His schween snapped off. It's gone. Hot dog on ice. So
You know, I was like, you go by Pop Claus you go by Pop Claus. I mean, there's worse ways to go. Ain't no worse way about that. Like that's
no.
nah.
Okay, so real quick, top three. We got the top three. Which one's the worst? You got Pop Claw with the anality. Bring that one back. You've got Anton with the freeze.
Bring it back over here.
The popped popsicle. And then you have
wait,
Governor.
Come over here. That still
Come
works.
over here.
And then you have the governor
getting blown up.
Not just getting blown up. Well, not just the blown up, but
you have to watch his kid get tied to, maybe.
No. The one who Doppelganger was on top of.
He got it easy. That's
but he didn't die though.
That was easy.
I mean,
Did he die?
You have two people that didn't die and one that did. Who got it worse?
He just opened up new possibilities for his life. That's all he did. Like he check off one of them boxes.
He's now going to go on a journey of exploration.
Who's got it worse?
Right.
Because he's got to live with that, and his career might be at
But he gets to live.
But he gets to live.
Anton gets to live too, and that's not a happy thing in my opinion. I mean,
Anton gets to live.
If people out there get accidents, they get accidents all the time. You can live a full, healthy life. I am just saying that's a lot to process. I'm picturing the scene in my head. That's a lot to process.
It's hard to grasp.
Oh, he can be an Unsullied now, right?
He could be Unsullied.
Learn how to sizzle with the best of them. They got classes.
God damn it.
Oh man, but the worst part is he said something like, "I felt like I was still lucky to be with her."
Yeah,
or something like that. And
he was like, "It's the cost that it's the cost that someone as low as me has to pay to be with her, and I still miss her. I still think of her. Like, damn, dude,
they said,
how
that's cost like that a mortal like me gets to be with a goddess like her. Like, wow, they really put these heroes.
How good was it?
Pedestal.
I need her to teach a class.
No,
not the freezing part, just the technique.
And did she just say sorry? My bad. Happens sometimes.
Oopsies.
I'm gonna keep this frozen for my own personal use though.
Did she pull it out?
Nah, she kept that. It's frozen somewhere. She kept it. And she said something like, "In a way, you're always with me."
Like you open her freezer and there's just like a freezer full of dicks that she's so proud of. This is my collection.
No.
That wasn't her first time.
No, but it's crazy though. Like I'm trying to imagine it just clean snap off, no blood because it's already frozen. It's just penis in an ice shelf.
That was
In
probably
an ice shelf. It's like
that
a,
was
Dick
probably
it.
a really
but
hard 10 minutes to decide what you're gonna do with your life because
It
right
was
now
hard for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So you can wait. You can just wait. You can wait for it to thaw and bleed to death, or you can go to the
Mhm.
hospital. What do I want to do? After
and
the
you have
shock
to
wears
keep it
off,
frozen because if you don't,
Put it in some milk.
Talk about the stub.
yeah, I'm talking about the stub.
Oh,
Like,
well,
do you
you know
I was
how
just
just
like
die?
thinking like,
they say if your tooth
imagine.
falls out, like if you get your tooth knocked out, you can put it in milk and go to the dentist and they can try to like. And sometimes if you
I
have stuff like,
it's just called a boner. It ain't. There's no.
like I mean, the dick was already on ice, so they probably could have gone to the hospital and had it
Oh
reattached,
no! It's all those
unless
cells
it
were dead.
shattered.
All those cells were dead.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Liquid
that's just
nitrogen.
gone. Yeah,
That's
you
rough.
thaw it out, it ain't good again.
It's all freezer burned.
Like,
Um,
He would have had an easier time if Pop Claw cut it off than dipping
hmm
your dick in liquid nitrogen. Like,
no recovering that.
just terrible.
and
Um,
that's all I remember from this episode.
okay,
So,
so um, then
Billy Wild's out.
Frenchie. Oh yeah, Billy Wild's out in there because, well,
Mhm.
number one, while this poor unfortunate soul is telling his story, Billy is like whispering cracks over to Huey, and then he says, um, "You see how you
You
see
see
how
how
these
they.
people's lives are affected, and this wasn't even on purpose. Just think about if you were dating a super and they found out that you were using them to get information." So this whole time, he's really been trying to steer Billy away from actually liking Starlight. Like he really
Huey.
just wanted Huey. He wanted to use Huey. He wanted Huey to use Starlight for information, but he didn't want her to like. He didn't want him to like her
Yeah.
or be with her after the fact. Um, so after after that, we see Frenchie and Mother's Milk in the hotel, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is up with Kimiko because she um she doesn't talk, and they wanted like she's just basically sitting there. Okay, Aunt has to leave us. Bye, Aunt. So in a minute, it's just gonna be me and you, Kris,
All
because
right.
Mo has been in and out. um, so
Right, right.
Frenchie gets the idea that they should go to Mesmer
Hmm.
because Mesmer hates Vought and he really hates A Train, and so this would be his opportunity to kind of stick it to the man. But Frenchie can't really go anywhere because he's been burned, and
Hmm.
um, there's and people are on the lookout for him. So it ends up being Mother's Milk that goes to visit Mesmer at it's kind of it's a Comic-Con type situation, and it's that little area where all of the celebrities are there taking pictures and signing autographs, and so you see like there's some other, I guess, old school superheroes in the background. Billy Zane is there as himself, which just really cracked me up.
You're right. As Billy
As
Zane,
Billy Zane.
As Billy Zane. Um,
that
and
was
then
awesome.
Mesmer
That
is
was just awesome.
there.
I'm like, you don't even need to be a superhero. You just Billy Zane.
You're just Billy Zane, and that's fine. Um, so you're sitting there and you're kind of looking at Mesmer, who used to have his own childhood TV show, and he used to be probably one of the A-list
Mhm.
superheroes. And now he's probably charging $40 for an autograph and $50 for a picture. And this guy is like there, and he's like, "Oh, I just think you're so great. Tell me what number I'm thinking of." So like Mesmer is holding his hand. He's like 4, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're just unfucking believable."
Mhm.
So they take their picture and say his little catchphrase. What's the catchphrase?
There are no secrets from me.
There are no secrets from me. So he says the catchphrase, and um, then Mother's Milk comes up to him, and the guy's like, "Oh, so I guess you're a big fan." And Mother's Milk is like, "No,
I never seen the show.
I've never seen the show." And he brings up A Train. He's like, "But A Train though, that guy, like,
He's
you used
blowing
to work
up.
with him, right? He really blew up." And it's like, nothing annoys you more than when somebody knows you don't like a person, but they're just gonna like put them front and center in your face and then talk about how awesome they are. Like, I'm not really here for that. So I bet Mo is dropping off now too.
Mm-mm-mm.
Uh, Mo has to go as well. So
Well then.
what was the point in this? Okay, so I guess we'll be back with the fourth episode.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so we will be back with the fourth episode, but we're gonna finish talking about this scene though.
All right.
Yeah. Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
so mhm. Um it just threw me all off of my summary. Um,
So
so
they take
yes,
him back
thank
to
you.
the house. Oh, so
Oh,
Mother's Milk is like, okay, tell you what, touches my hand, and Mesmer's like, wait, how'd you know about Cassidy? Is his daughter's name, I think.
Right,
mm,
right.
Yeah, Cassidy. And he's just like, look, I'm a social worker. I can get you in, whatever. So he goes, introduces them, and he finally reunites with his daughter, which Keem brought up a good point when we were watching because he claimed I lost custody 3 years ago. So, and when they met, the daughter was like, yeah, I don't really know you. It was like, wait, how old was she when they lost contact?
right, because she looked to be like 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
12, 13 or so
yeah, I feel like there were some good solid years that they should have had
together.
in there to at least remember him. But she was
Mm-hmm.
calling him by his first name, like, hello, Charles. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was super formal with him.
Right. So I just,
Didn't care.
yeah, so I
None
just
of that.
chalked it up that, yeah, I chalked it up that he wasn't in her life all this time, and he officially lost custody 3 years ago because he was a shit dad. So then there's that. So
Yeah. Um, so Mother's Milk basically promises him, if you come and help us with what we need to do, I will make sure that you get regular visitation time. It'll be supervised, but you can get regular time to like visit your daughter and get to know her. Um, and Mesmer, like he goes to hug his daughter goodbye, and she's still just kind of sitting there like,
okay.
and he's like, I just want to make sure you, I just want to know that you don't hate me. And she's like, I don't know you. And then he tries to give her his the box
His,
set of his series
yeah.
so that she can get to know him. And she's like, nah, I'm good.
Like, I don't have a DVD player,
Yeah.
which is crazy, and it
Right,
automatically made me
right.
feel old. I was like, "Damn,
We're in
what?
2019, bro.
What do
Yeah,
you
About to
mean?
what do you mean you don't have a DVD player?
Like,
Freaking kids, man.
perhaps you would like to view it on Betamax
You
then?
don't got a Xbox, PlayStation, nothing.
Nothing. She seemed to be really into books, so maybe she doesn't do any of that
Mm,
technological stuff.
right.
Um, so where we'll leave it is you get back to the house, to the safe house, and uh,
Mesmer
they're going to
checks.
have Mesmer try to delve into what's happening in Kimiko's mind.
Mhm.
And we'll stop there at a cliffhanger and we'll pick back up at some point.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, will they
The
finish
question
the
is,
episode?
will they ever finish reviewing the series?
Will we
Never.
ever finish this show? It's only 8 episodes. Like seriously, it's
It's
literally only 8 episodes. But we're gonna get there.
our review is
I really
longer than the
wanted to say
fucking
this before we
series.
That's true.
Go ahead, Mo. Sorry.
I was gonna say this before we leave this time. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you, Keem, for hosting. Thank you, Kris. This actually had a speech. Like this was supposed to be the speech after like this episode. If this was the last one, no. But seriously, thank you for coming, man. Thank you for blocking off time to make sure you get this done. And we got one more episode. It's funny because I was telling Keem, man, I really enjoy this show so much, or this cast so much, and I'm like, I need to find some more things to cast on. But so if there's anyone like this was a request, right? We weren't going to cast this, and then this happened to be a request. So
Yeah.
if anyone has a request that's watching, you have a show you want us to cast, make and drop a message to Keem, or you can go to the website earth2cc.com, Earth2 Comic Cast on Facebook, Earth2 Comic Cast Twitter, Instagram. Let us know, and we will try. I'm not going to say we'll do it, we will try to put it together for you guys. Again, thank you guys for coming. We'll catch you on the next one. How do you sign now? This is your show. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, overall it's your thing. So, but I just say Earth 2 out. So, Earth 2 out.
Okay, Earth2 out. Is he fading?